Okay, so now we're going to talk about complex fractions and unit rates. By the end of this lesson, you should be able to simplify complex fractions and again calculate unit rates. First thing I have for you is a video just to remind us of how we're dividing fractions.
Yeah, you know how this. You know how this go. Keep, change, flip. Simple, right? Divided fractions. Vocabulary. Let's go. Keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip. Yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Dividing fractions is easy. That's no lie. You just flip one, yup. You multiply, don't flip both, because that'll be strange. You need to keep one exactly the same. Yeah. Then the sign gets changed, division to multiplication, that's okay. Then flip the second fraction like you're on the grill. We multiply what's left, that's really real. Take 3/5 divided by 2/3. Keep, change, flip, that's the word. Keep 3/5 the same, change the sign so we multiply, that's the game. Flip 2/3, we get 3/2, then we can multiply, and so should you. 3 times 3 is 9, 2 times 5 is 10, 9/10 can't reduce it, that's the end. Why do we flip it? I'll explain the math. Divided by 2 is the same as multiplied by half. 20 students in your class divided by 2 would be 10 students. All we can do, 20 students in your class times half is 10. You see, you get the same thing at the end. Dividing is multiplying by the reciprocal. Keep, change, flip, yeah, that's the simple rule. Keep, change, flip, yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip, yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip, yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions. Keep, change, flip, yeah, that's the action. Everybody's gonna know how we're dividing fractions.
All right. Okay, so first things first, I left a little part out here, so we'll have a little writing. Complex fractions are fractions with a numerator, denominator, or both that are also fractions. So an easy way to think of a complex fraction is a fraction inside of another fraction. An example I could give you is 20/1/2. One thing that would really help you throughout the year, whenever you see a fraction, the first operation that should pop into your mind is division. So what operation is going on whenever you see a fraction? Sorry about that. Division. So, now that we've watched the video, what exactly do we do when dividing fractions? Well, we keep, change, flip. All right, let's get to a few examples. So, if you find that complex fractions get confusing for you, my best suggestion would be to rewrite it in a different form that you're more familiar with. So, first thing you want to do is find that larger fraction bar. So, in the first example, this fraction bar here is dividing 1/4 from the 2. So, first thing we're going to do is just rewrite it. So, 1/4 we know that fraction means to divide, divided by 2. Well, now that we have a whole number as one of the things in our fraction, why don't we just change that to a fraction? To change any whole number to a fraction, we just put a 1 underneath. Now this looks a little bit more familiar to you. So when we're dividing fractions, we're going to keep the first thing the same, change our division sign to multiplication, and then take that second fraction and flip it upside down. So instead of 2 over 1, we're going to have 1 over 2. If you could cross simplify here, I would highly suggest that. And then we're just going to multiply straight across. So 1 times 1 gives us 1, 4 times 2 gives us 8. This second example here, first thing you want to do is find that fraction bar that's dividing your problem. So now we can rewrite it. 1 divided by 1/2. Again, we have a whole number, so to change any whole number to a fraction, we're just going to put a 1 underneath. Now we're dividing fractions. Our rules to keep, change the division sign to multiplication, and flip that second fraction. So instead of 1 over 2, it's going to be 2 over 1. Again, we don't really have anything that we can cross simplify, so we're going to multiply straight across. 1 times 2 gives us 2, and 1 times 1 gives us 1. Anything over 1 is just itself. So our final answer for that one would be 2. All right. Tia is painting a house. She paints for 34.5 square feet in 3/4 of an hour. At this rate, how many square feet can she paint each hour? So, they didn't necessarily give us a complex fraction, but we're going to set it up. So, if she can paint 34.5 square feet in 3/4 of an hour, this would be our complex fraction. Now, if you ever have a mixed number in part of your complex fraction, it's important to first change it to an improper fraction. I've heard of this way that I find is easy if you're having issues with changing a mixed number to an improper fraction. It's called MAD. So what that's telling us is we want to multiply our denominator by our whole number. 34 times 2 is going to give us 68. The A in MAD is standing for add in your numerator. 68 plus 1 gives us 69. And then the D is telling us to keep our denominator the same. So 34 and 1/2 as an improper fraction would be 69 over 2. And then I'm just going to rewrite the 3/4. So now that we've got our mixed number to an improper fraction, we can work on rewriting the problem. So again, find your large fraction bar, which is going to be here for us. We're going to rewrite it. 69 over 2 divided by 3/4. Now, we can keep change, flip. So keep the first one the same. Change to a multiplication sign. And instead of 3 over 4, we're now going to have 4 over 3. All right, now we have some cross-simplifying that we can do. So whenever you're multiplying fractions, it's helpful to me to look across from the numbers, so diagonally, so the 2 and the 4, or the 3 and the 69, and figure out a number that goes into both of them. You could just multiply straight across and simplify at the end, but I do think this method is a little bit easier because you have smaller numbers to work with. So the 2 and the 4 I think is more obvious. The biggest number that goes into both of them is 2. 2 goes into 2 one time, 2 goes into 4 twice. Now, 3 and 69, it may be hard to know what goes into 69, so here's a trick to find out if 3 goes into a number. You take the digits, so 6 plus 9, that gives us 15. Does 3 go into 15? Yes. That's a cool divisibility trick that you can use. So, if you add the digits together and 3 goes into that number that you get for your sum, that means that 3 also goes into that larger number. So, 3 goes into 69 23 times. 3 goes into 3 one time. Now that there's nothing else that I can simplify, I know that by multiplying straight across is going to get me to my final answer. So 23 times 2 is going to give us 46, and 1 times 1 leaves us with 1. So what this is telling us, going back to the question, is that Tia can paint 46 square feet each hour. All right. One more example. Write 33 1/3% as a fraction in simplest form. So, percent. Why don't we think of the definition of a percent? What makes a percent? Well, it's something out of 100. So if it's out of 100, I can easily get rid of that percent sign by taking the percent and putting it over 100. Okay, now I have another mixed number that I need to change to an improper fraction. So using our mad trick, we're going to multiply our denominator and our whole number. So 3 times 33, it's going to give us 99. And then add in that numerator. So 99 plus 1 gives us 100 over 3 divided by 100. So now that we have our mixed number changed to an improper fraction, let's work on rewriting this. So 100 over 3 divided by 100. How do we change a whole number to a fraction? That's right. Okay, so now that it's more familiar to us, let's just use our rules for dividing fractions. We're going to keep the first part the same. Change our division sign to a multiplication sign. And instead of 100 over 1, we're going to flip it, 1 over 100. Anyone see anything that we can simplify? I do. 100 and 100, they're the same number. They go into each other the same amount of times. 100 goes into both of them 1 time. So we're going to cross them out and replace them with a 1. Now, we can multiply straight across. 1 times 1 gives us 1. 3 times 1 gives us 3. So write 33 1/3% as a fraction in simplest form. There we go. All right, so now it's your turn. Work on your own with your partners, and let me know if you need anything.